Aside from that shit brown interior that I'm slowly getting rid of, the one thing that's driven me nuts in this thing is this guy right here, that stereo. So it doesn't have any kind of Bluetooth or nothing. I gotta use cords and stuff, and which isn't too big a deal, but recently the buttons stopped working. I can't switch songs, I can't turn volume without like knocking on it and messing with it. So my wife hooked it up and she got me a new one for Christmas. So I got this guy now, and it's got the direct control for my iPhone. I can customize the colors. I can talk on my phone. It's great. I don't need that steering wheel stuff or this stuff really, but so yeah, we're gonna put it in, and it's gonna be much better than that guy right there. So let's get to it. All right, so stereo comes with the wiring harness, comes with a like extension to plug into the back, so you can plug your phone in or whatever. I'm just gonna use it to extend the charger, I guess, and then some screws, and for the microphone for the phone, the Bluetooth phone. So I actually have already all right, so stereo comes with the wiring harness, a little extension so you can plug your phone in, and the microphone for your phone, and then screws. So I've actually already installed one of these into a 4Runner, my father-in-law's 4Runner, and a Corolla, because I had a Corolla before I had this 4Runner as a commuter, and I had ordered this stereo off of Amazon previously, and for some reason they sent me two. I only got charged for one, so I put one in my father-in-law's car and one in his 4Runner, one in the Corolla. And I was gonna pull it out of the Corolla before I sold it, but the guy was like down the street and he came and saw it, and he saw the stereo in it and wanted the stereo, so I just sold it to him. So it's a bitchin' stereo. I really like it. That's why my wife got me this one again, because she already knew that I liked it. So it's pretty simple, but I do like this guy here. You can completely customize all of the equalizer on it. You could use the ones that are already preset, or you can set two custom ones that completely customize it. So that's pretty cool. And then I'm also going to run reverse camera to this thing as well, but that's going to be another day. So for the wiring harness, that's this guy right here, the reverse gear signal input. So I'm going to leave that wire intact because we're going to get to it, I promise, but just not now. I got to order the rear view camera off of Amazon, and it's kind of a cool one. It actually just goes right at the top of it mounts to the top two screws behind your license plate, and the camera just peeks over the top of your license plate or your license plate cover or whatever. So it's pretty sleek and hidden, stuff like that, so it'll be good. I'll dig it. So anyway, this is the setup, and we're gonna just wire it together now. All right, to get the stereo out, you first got to pop this little guy off the center console here to give you some room, because it sits over this one, and then pop this guy. What I like to do is take the little boot off, so I can just pull this whole thing out. And I've clearly painted it. I showed that in a different video, but next step is right here. There's like two screws right here and right here, so you gotta like pull the little knobs off of your climate control or AC or whatever you want to call it, and then this whole thing will pop out. And what I like to do is I'll like to give myself a little bit of room here, put the keys in the ignition and kind of just come back to neutral or something to give myself some room to play. You can also get the shifter in through the stereo hole and kind of turn it sideways and take it out that way. And then So I think that's what I'm probably gonna do this time. But you have to pop this face off of here, and this button actually comes out too. So you gotta pull the button out, this AC button. It just pops out. Sometimes I have to use like a pair of pliers, but this button will pop right out, and then this face will come off and it'll expose like 2 screws in the corner. I don't remember. I think they're like right here. But it's actually holding this in, and then you'll pop this all off, and then unplug like the little cannon plugs for everything, and like cigarette lighter and stuff like that, so you can take this all off. So we're gonna get to that. All right, so like I said, the AC button pops out right here. I just used some vice grips, pulled them out, and then for this I just used a little plastic parts panel puller, got right here, and then pulled on it. I don't want to pry on this because I painted it, so pop that off. And like I said, right here there's a screw that holds your, you can see it goes through the green plastic there, so it's holding this on here. You can go to pop this off and it starts popping, but you have that one spot right there that doesn't want to come, so you gotta get a screwdriver to pull it, and then this whole thing will come off pretty clean and smooth. And then that's pretty much the whole dash torn apart. Alright, so what I might have failed to show you is that little guy up in this corner up there. So I told you there was 2 screws. There's another one that's kind of deep back in. It sits back behind that screw there, so that's the hole for it. And then like I said, you just kind of unplug the cigarette lighter, the light bulb for your ashtray, and then like your clock and stuff like that. Right there, has the lights, everything. So that's out, and you're exposed your stereo. And this is actually going to be super simple. This one's like a kit for the single DIN, so it has a little pocket underneath. Take these 4 screws out and unplug, pull the whole thing out, unplug it, and then these side brackets right here that are holding it, you just unscrew those and use the screws that came with the new stereo, screw it on the sides of the new one, and it's a plug and play. So we're gonna pull that apart real quick. Okay, so your previous wiring harness or your stock wiring harness, this is like an aftermarket part, I believe. These 2 to run to the stereo wiring harness. So you have to wire up what to what here. Here's the new wiring harness. We're just gonna color match everything and get it going, what speakers are what here. But let's see. So they plug in right there, and then I do have some RCAs that are ran back, and I have a power cable for an amp ran back, and it's just ran to underneath the back seat, but I'm gonna run it underneath the passenger seat. I am gonna plug them into the back here, so that way I can have an amplifier installed later, because I do like to have some bass, a little bit of sound in my music. So I'm thinking I'm gonna just do some 6x9s with an 800 watt amp and run them like right here where this thing is, for that crossbar for the shade or the shield to go over the back. I never use it, so if I take that out and then cut a square hole in this plastic on the side here, just cut a square hole in it right here and set it inside, and then bolt it to where these 2 screws are, and it'll be kind of sunk into the side here, and it'll look somewhat factory, and then it'll be kind of out of the way, so when I move this bed in and out of here and stuff like that, or whatever the case, or when I try and take this bed out and use the whole area for storage or whatever from camping or whatever. So anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and wire these 2 together, and then I'll put the stereo in and show you guys how that's gonna work out. And for what we need here, I'm gonna have my little buddy, he's all Batmaned out. He's gonna help me by handing me the parts that I need, as I'm going to be wiring all this together. So here we go. Yep, and we're going to cut it. So it's pretty straightforward and simple. Every single wire here is the same as here, so it's a pretty easy setup. If you're doing this for the first time or whatever the case may be, you might have to actually like look up the wiring diagrams and stuff, but I mean, for the most part, it's just gonna match up though. Especially if you buy an aftermarket wiring harness, Scosche makes them, a couple other brands make them. The wires will pretty much match up to what you're looking at, so you can see like green to green, purple to purple, white to white, black to black, all that stuff. So it's pretty straightforward and simple. So what I'm going to do is just cut all these off here, because all I have is these butt connectors. I don't have these little fancy connectors, whatever they use. So I'm going to have to cut these connectors off and then use the butt connectors to splice them in. The only one that I'm going to leave is this one here, because that red power cord that goes to the amp, I'm going to cut it here, and then we'll splice this other red wire into this one, and then I'll still be able to connect that amplifier power cable. So this will work out pretty good, I think. Alright, so the trick here is, one, I don't want a giant hole here because I don't want it visible. So I put just a tiny hole going at an angle through the corner, just enough to get the aux cord through, and then we'll just pull the entire cable through this little hole. As long as that. And then we could just mount it right there in the corner, like this, and completely hide that little hole with the little microphone. And then we can band this all back up, all this extra cable here, with the little twisty tie that it came with, and then have just enough to go to this area here, from there to there, which is like 3 or 4 inches or whatever, just enough to plug into the back of the stereo there. So we'll leave ourselves like 6 or 8 inches and then band up the rest, and then it'll be really clean inside of there, not a bunch of wires everywhere when you take it apart next time, like when I get the reverse camera. So that's pretty much where we're going with that. I'm also gonna fix one of my cup holders here, I think, or at least attempt to, because the cup holder is supposed to spring back closed and it doesn't. This one does. So I think if I just pop it out, I think the spring probably just came undone in the back in there when I pulled it out to paint all of this. So, because that's when it stopped working. So I think I just screwed it up when I pulled it out last, and then I'm gonna fix that, and then we're just gonna put all this together, and it's gonna look pretty cool. Alright, so I took the cup holder out of here, and it's pretty simple. It's just these 2 like snap clips or whatever. Press them in and pull it out from the backside. You have a metal plate here that is held in by 4 screws. Took that off, and I was wrong, the spring's intact, but this little pin right here broke off. So see, that one's like in there and intact. This one broke off, and it's right there, just hanging out. So I'm pretty sure this cup holder's finished, but I am just gonna try and super glue it in place with some Loctite, and then let it sit for a little bit, and hopefully it'll be strong enough to cup holder again. I mean, it still works, but it just like is all wonky and stuff. So I'm gonna fix that, and then, like I said, slap it back together. I did get the microphone fixed in place with that little 3M tape, so that's good to go now. And like I said, we'll just band this back together with the twist tie that it came with, leave a little bit extra room to hook it up, and we'll have a Bluetooth phone. Super exciting. Alright, so like I said, we got this thing banded up here. with that little twist tie it came with, so it's going to be clean in the back. Give ourselves some extra room to get behind the speaker and plug in. And I took the brackets off of the other speaker, or the other stereo here, and the single DIN kit, and put them on here. I suggest you use the screws that come with the stereo, because they're actually like made for the slotted holes that are in it. If you reuse them, see the slotted holes look a little bit different. They look similar, but they're a little bit off, a little bit different. So the thread counts might be different, whatever the case may be. So I suggest using the screws that came with the stereo. So now all we gotta do is plug and play. So we'll get this guy in there, plug it up, and put my center console all back together. Alright, so that's what she looks like when we're plugged in. I just want to test her before I get everything situated. Alright. English. There it is. Alright, so seems like it works. Let's see. Yeah, so far so good. Alright, that's the radio. I'll hook her up the rest of the way and get everything put together, and then show you guys what she's got. Alright, so it's hooked up. We're all good. Everything's secure. Got the little microphone down in there, but kicking back, you can't even see it. It's bitching. It's out of the way. I got it all set up and just on the radio, because I use my phone to record and I can't really, it sounds better with my phone audio, but I mean, it's working. So it's definitely a lot better setup than what I had. So it's all touch screen. There you go. Landing inside my grave, I know that you want me dead. Anyway, that's the setup there, and then, you know, like it says, it's got all kinds of crap. You can change the background and the illumination colors. You can change what it looks like. You could set a picture. I'm gonna set it green since you know, the rest of the interior on these Toyotas is green, so I'll probably edit it with the custom colors to make it match when it's a little bit darker out, but there it is. Pretty cool little radio. So that's pretty much the install. I just got to put the rest of my center console together, but I'm going to clean some stuff up before I throw it back in. So hope you guys enjoy it. There's plenty of other videos out there, but this is for this guy. So I'm going to go see if the phone works and everything, and yeah, so hope you guys dig it. Thanks.